me start the recording.
Start the screen share. All the best, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. So, hi everyone, good evening. So, yesterday we have covered some variables. Let's go get into the point. But before we start to the classes, let me ask you the few questions. I already informed you that I'm going to ask you the 5 to 10 questions before we start the class. Okay. So, I directly ask, like, shall I pick someone or you people are going to tell randomly?
As you wish, sir.
Okay, fine. So, I'll ask Ramya. Just tell me what is a variable?
Yeah, yes, Uma. Variable, it is a store the data.
Okay. What
Yeah,
kind
in
of a
variables
data?
we have, yeah,
What kind of a data it will store?
like string variable, integers,
Mm-hmm.
like
Okay. Fine. Where your answer is correct, but you have to be more. I mean, you have to give more definition and more answer to that. So, variable is a container that stores the data, which
okay,
contains strings, integers, booleans, etc.
boolean, yeah,
Okay.
etc. Okay.
And Hema, Hema, right?
Yes, good morning, Uma.
Yeah, good morning for you and good evening for me. Okay. Hema, have you seen the last videos?
The one that you sent yesterday? The yesterday's class one?
Yes, the one which I sent yesterday and day
Yes,
before yesterday.
no, day before yesterday, I'm not able to access the Microsoft team, which I told Vajrang about it.
Okay.
But I did check the YouTube video, which is posted on the WhatsApp. So that's the only one I was able to watch, not the old ones like the previous classes.
Okay, fine. Hema, what are the components of UiPath?
It's UiPath Studio, Orchestrator, Robots.
Can you please explain me one word answer for that?
Sorry, one second.
Yeah,
One
sure.
second. No, my dog is barking, so 1 second.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Can you tell me one line answer to that?
To the
Orchestrator, Studio, and Robots.
okay. So the UiPath Studio is the one where we have it's a design kind of panel where we do the activities, sequences. It's a place where you can design any kind of activities and the sequences.
Okay.
And whereas the orchestrator is the one where all the process is executed, and and the robot is like it acts like an agent where it executes the process.
Okay, fine.
Maybe I mistook or
No
confused,
problem.
I think.
No problem. As this was the first or second class, but make sure that you are going through all the concepts each and every day. If you are doing practice, then you will able to understand and you will able to remember it clearly. Okay. So basically, why I'm fetching this, I already informed you. This was the interview questions. You have to give the answers. There is no other choice. So that's why I keep on asking you the questions. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next is Dolika.
Yeah,
Yeah. How many types of bots we have?
two types of bots, attended and unattended bots.
Okay.
So in attended bots, like there is a human interaction, and they Attended both use individual users for the small tasks, whereas unattended both there is no use of human interaction and deals with a long process or automation.
Okay, fine. It's not a bot, it's a bot. Okay. And the next is Sesi Murli. Sesi.
Yes,
How,
miss.
how many types of layouts we have in UiPath?
There are 6 type of layouts:
Mm-hmm.
sequence, flowchart,
Okay.
state machine,
Okay.
exception handler,
Okay.
and workflows. Means 5.
Yeah, it's not exception handler, it's a global handler.
Okay, global handler.
Okay, yeah. The next is Shrutika.
Yes, Uma.
Okay. What are the arguments? You just explain me you just give me definition. No need to explain.
Okay. Argument, it allow a variable value to be copied from one workflow to another. We can create argument in assign activity, expression, property panel, and argument panel.
Okay. Shrutika, partially it is correct, but not completely. Again, I'll tell you. Arguments are similar to variables. Arguments are not the variables. Okay, it's a similar to variables. Arguments like we can pass the data from one workflow to another workflow through the arguments. Okay, and main thing you have to remember is arguments will pass the data from one workflow to another workflow. Okay, so Surya.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm asking you the question again. What are the arguments? Sorry, no, what are the variables? Are you there, Surya?
Sorry, it was in mute. Sorry.
Yeah.
Variables is nothing but contains the data.
Okay, what kind of a data? By default, it contains.
No, we have to store the data in variables. Not
Okay.
store. Inputs we are giving in the variables.
Okay, so what kind of a data it stores? Okay, fine. It stores the integers, numbers, booleans, arrays, date and time variables. Like that, it will store the multiple data. You need to remember that variable is a container which it stores the different kinds of data. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So yesterday I have explained you about the text to string variable, number variable, boolean variable. Have you completed that task?
No, the thing is like today only. I mean, I have received my laptop. I mean, it was laptop in my home location, and I have received today.
Okay.
There is no time to practice it. I mean, I'll prepare by this night. I'll practice. I mean, I haven't installed this UiPath as well
Okay.
in my laptop.
Okay.
Just now, before call only, I have received my laptop. So yeah, I'll do it on this night.
Sure. Make sure that whatever we have explained yesterday, please do all those tasks. Okay.
Yeah,
So that
and
you
one
will.
more thing.
Yes. Tell me.
The thing is like I forgot this note. I mean, where can I get these notes? Yesterday you noted these questions like basic and all, this task and all. So where
Okay.
can I get this content?
Okay. Is my screen visible for you?
Yeah, it is.
So if you go to Teams,
Okay.
if you just click on the Teams,
Okay.
you will have the option of basic team September team 22.
Yes.
Okay. Then click on files.
Let
You'll
me
have the
just-
meeting notes as well as interview questions.
Yeah, got it. Got it. Got it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So let's move to the topics.
I have one more question, Uma.
Yeah,
Uh, so I want to install this UiPath. So which version I have to install?
the latest version 2021 you have to install.
No, in that there is a flavor separate enterprise like ultimate. Is there any kind of
Enterprise.
editions like?
No, no, you have to install the community edition.
Okay, okay, okay. Fine, fine. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Others, have you completed the task?
Yes, Uma completed.
Okay. Have you understood the questions? I mean, have you understood the activities task?
Yes, understood.
Okay, fine. So yesterday we have learned about the text, numbers, booleans, and as well as the sequences and flowchart, right? So today we are going to learn about the array variables, date and time variables, data table variable, and generic variables. So I already mentioned you about most commonly used activities in UiPath. So in that, three we have covered yesterday, and the remaining four we are going to do today. So please follow me and please have a be interactive. If you have any questions, please be let me please stop me in the middle so that I can explain you, because based on all the variable types, i'm going to uh, I'm going to do a task on today. Okay, so for today we have like four variables, right? I'm going to do four tasks, and that four tasks you have to complete it by tomorrow in your missions.
I have a question, Uma.
Yes, sir. Yes, tell me.
Uh, what what is the functionality or the specification for start node?
Start node.
So yeah,
Start
in
node is
flowchart,
not.
like
Tell me.
I just want to understand like what is the necessity or the feature of start node?
See, start node. The name itself is telling you to start the process. Okay, flowchart is something like that. You have to give a start node to start the process where you want to start, from where you wanted to start your project. If we
Oh, okay.
For example, I have the multiple assign activities, I have the multiple sequences in the flowchart, but if I don't give a start node, project will bot will not understand from where it has to start.
Okay. So it has to go only on the wherever we are doing, like if it has multiple like the input, then I have to just put it on the first input, not on all the inputs, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Because you are giving the instruction from to start from point 1 to 10. In the
Then
sequence,
okay.
in the sequences, you won't have that option. Anyways, it is a step-by-step process, so it will
Process.
execute by its own.
Okay, I got it. Thank you so much.
Yes. So I'm just opening the UiPath Studio. Just give me a minute. So by that time, we will write meeting notes. So if someone is missing, if you are missing any topics, please go through the meeting notes. I will update it. I'm updating it very clearly. If I'm missing to update through in between the class also, I'm updating it later. Okay. So Surya, these are the tasks which we have covered yesterday. Okay. Please have a look into this.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So today what is date? 6th September, right? Okay. And today we are going to cover these four variables. So the fourth one is array variable. So I'm just creating a workflow of array variable. Okay. Can someone tell me what is an array? Why we use array?
Which can hold a group of, uh, that means a group of data
Mm-hmm.
of the same data type.
Okay. Correct. So you have whatever you said is correct. Let me give you like this. The array variable is a type of variable which enables you to store multiple values of the same type. Like if you are giving numbers, then it will take numbers. I mean multiple numbers. If you are giving strings, then it will take a number of characters. So on. This array is nothing but it stores the multiple values. Okay, you need to remember this one. So what for based on the arrays, what I'm doing the task is um, let's do like this. We will create one automation and ask user to enter the first name and the last name and the age, and it has to store the information in a array and has to write in a text file. Understood the question?
Once again, can you repeat?
Yeah. So based on the input, based on the name. Okay, for example, if I'm giving Uma and my age and my date of birth, bot has to store that particular value into an array and it has to write in a text file. Understood the question? Because you won't able to understand if I do the task now.
Not exactly.
Okay. Let me write a task here. So I'm taking a sequence. So here you have a plus symbol. I'm having the sequence activity in the left side. I'm just dragging over here. So what I have told you based on the input. So if I'm giving Uma, it has to store in the database, right? If I'm giving another name John, it has to store not in the database, it has to store in an array. Did you get that? What I told you, array is a container which holds the same data type values, right? So what I will do is I will write first name here. If I'm doing here, you will able to understand. First name, entered. Okay. So which variable I have to store here? That variable of first name, right? So I'm just pressing Ctrl K and I'm creating in a variable called first name. Okay. So if I'm running this program, if I'm giving Uma, where it has to store, where it is going to store that value?
In first name.
Yes, in the first name it is storing, but I wanted to store in the form of array.
Okay.
I want to store the my name, my first name, and my last name and my age. I wanted to store in the form of array. So for that purpose, what I am doing here, first I'm taking the input here, and the next again I will take the input here. So I'll just I will drag and drop here, or else I'll click on this. Okay, input dialog box. So I'm just entering the last name. Okay, last name entered. Okay, so now I have the variable of first name here. So I wanted to create the variable of last name. So I'm just pressing Ctrl K and I'm creating in a variable called last name. Right? So now I have the first name. Now I have the second name, and I wanted to store this both in a array. Okay. So for that purpose, what I have to do? I have to use an assign activity. So whatever the results you are getting for these and these, you have to assign to an array. Are you able to get the point, or I am thinking that you are not able to understand it?
Actually, it is a little bit confusing, but okay, at the end we can tell.
Okay. Or else we'll do one thing. Just a minute. So let's park this array variable aside. Let's do a simple sequence of date and time variable. Okay? Because I that's why I told you to practice, because until or unless if you don't practice all these variables, then you're not able to understand it. If
No,
I'm
actually, array means it contains only the same data type, right? So
Yes,
here in the array, you will take the two inputs as first name and the last name. We are going to assign as a array.
yes,
That means you will concatenate those two, first name and the last name, and you will assign to one variable. That's it, right?
correct, correct. 100%
Okay,
correct,
okay.
correct. So to concatenate these two values, I have to create another variable. Okay, another variable called name. First name, last name, I'm just storing into a name. So to store these two input values, what I have to do? In which format I have to give? I'm giving the format in the flower braces. So first name, comma, last name.
No need of plus symbol.
No, it's an array. It's just storing the values.
Okay.
See, if you observe here, I got the issue over here. What it is saying? It is giving some error. Some special characters can appear inside with a statement. So if you're not able to understand the what kind of error it was, directly what you need to do, you can just copy that error and paste in the forum. Then you will able to understand exact solution. Okay. And now again I'm getting an error. Let's see the error. Cannot assign from system.string to type string.string. So I have created an array, but in the variable I didn't change the variable type here. So that's why it is showing me the error. Okay. So I have to select array of string. See, now the error has gone. Understood? So variables are very important. Whatever the variable you are creating, you have to make sure that you need to change the variable type. So I'm just giving in the form of array. So that's why I have changed your variable type. So now I have to get the result for this. So what should I do further?
Message box.
Okay, if I give the message box, will give a correct message. I told you to write in a text file. What we need to do? Think.
Text.
Okay, so we need to do a write text file activity here. If you click on the plus symbol, we have the option called write text file. See. Okay. So the thing what we need to do, whatever the results we are getting name, I'm just giving that variable here. See, we are getting an error. Dimensional array of string cannot be converted to string. So that means it's an array and it is not converting it to a string. So for that purpose, what we need to do, we need to convert this array into string. So for that purpose, I'm just using dot to string. Okay. So here we need to give a file path where we want to exactly have that data. So let me create the file first folder. So I'm just giving the path. New text document and save. Yes. Let's debug and check this code. So it is asking me to first name enter. I'll give Uma. Now we need to check where that exactly has, I mean the result has printed or not. So for that purpose we need to open the folder. And one more thing, you can open the folder directly from here. If you click on the project, then you can see here the folder icon, File Explorer. So if you click on this, it will directly move where the document has saved. Okay, new text document. Okay, it is giving some error, system.string. So let's resolve this issue. Text, it is taking the system.string, right? Okay. Okay, now I got the issue. So we didn't concatenated the value which we are getting for the first name and the last name. So for that purpose, what we need to do, we need to assign one more activity here. So we need to create another variable called result. And now we need to concatenate that first and the last name. So for that purpose, what we have given here, first name, right? So first name, index of 0 plus. So I'm just concatenating the words. That's it. I'm not doing anything. So now let's do a step into here to check the results, not the debug one. Now you're able to understand why step into will work. So I'll keep a breakpoint here. So now I will pass the variable called result here. Okay. So I'll put a breakpoint here. And okay, let's put this. Let me clear the text here. Anyways, it will rewrite the text, but I'm just removing to understanding purpose. Now, so I have mentioned the breakpoint here, so that's why it is stopped here. So if you can observe in the first class, I have explained you about this locals, watch and immediate panel. So I wanted to check the results, what result it is getting exactly. So for that purpose, what I'm doing, let's check here the variables. So first name I'm getting Uma and the last name I'm getting Devi. But whatever the variable I have assigned in the assign activity for the name, I didn't get any value here. So what I will do, I'll just click on a step into here. If you observe here, I got the name of Uma Devi. Okay. So let's move step into. So I got only you and Devi for here. So I'll change this index value to 1. Sorry, I didn't give any index in the last name, so that's why it is taking the wrong results. 0. Okay. Now let's debug the code again. Devi. Now it has stopped me here. So let's check again to step into. Now I got the values Uma and Devi. Step into this. So I got only U and E. That means it is taking from 0. Anyways, we'll start the index from the 0, right? So it is taking the U, and after 0 and 1, it is taking from the 1. In the Devi, it is taking the index column 1. So that's why I got the result of U and E. Okay.
Uma, without keeping index values directly, we can concatenate now first name plus last name.
Let's see that. What happens if we do that?
If we give index numbers means it will taking only the first
Correct.
letter in that.
Yes, yes, yes. Let's see that also. Okay. So let's check with that also. Okay, and clicking on step into. Yeah, we got the result of Uma Devi. So let's check in the document. See, now we got the result, right? So this is how the arrays will work. So actually, I will work on this index column. Not sure why I'm getting this issue. So and it is taking only the 0 index and the 1 index. So this is the one task for the arrays. I didn't done this before. I'm just doing in front of you to show you the results and to show you the steps how exactly it is working in the arrays. Okay, understood?
Yes, Uma, but in the name itself, we can directly concatenate first name plus last name also. We will get the same result, right?
But here we are storing the array values, not we are not concatenating anything. We can give the directly, but there is no point of explaining the arrays here. We wanted to give you the information that arrays can store in this form.
Okay.
Yeah. So explanation about the arrays, we can take the results as directly as you mentioned. That was correct. But the thing is, we wanted to explain you about the arrays, how the arrays will work. Arrays will work, how the arrays will store the data. So that was the reason I just taken this task. Otherwise, we can give the directly results by creating two variables over here. Without giving any input activities here, I can give the direct default value in this. I can assign only one activity, and I can show you the results.
Okay.
We can do all these things in one single step. But the thing is, to understand the concept, I am doing all these steps. That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next one is I if you have any questions on this arrays, please let me know, because next topic we are moving to date and time variables. Okay. So I'll create another sequence here. I'll create a date time variable. Okay. So what is date time variable and why it has a separate name, date and date time? If you give directly date over here, if you directly create a date variable here, is that date variable will takes the date or give you the date exactly? So let's see that actually. Okay, what I will do is I will add message box here. Okay, so what I will do, I'll create a variable called date. So date is not a valid, it is already available.
Current date.
Yes, current date. Yeah, so I have given a current date variable here. Okay, it has taken the variable type as object. So anyways, date will be an integer. Shall I give an integer type here? Let's see the results. So I'm giving integer 32. I can give a default value of today's date, like what is today's date? 06 09 2022. So okay, so it is an integer, it is not taking a special character, so that's why I given a direct number here. So let's see, I think it will give that result, but the thing is, okay, so whatever we have given the value in the default value, that has displayed here, but we don't want the date format like this. We want the exact date and time for that particular time, or for that particular project. So what in that scenarios, what is this date and time time variable will do? Actually, this date and time variable, we need to it uses in some situations, like if you want to save some particular file with the current date and time, if you want to save some excel with the current date and time, at that moment you can concatenate with this date and time variable. So I'm just showing you that how we need to create the date and time variable, and how this date and time variable is writing into a particular excel. So let's see that. I will check the assign activity. I'll check with an assign activity. So I'm taking one assign activity here, and I will create a date and time. Okay. So I created the variable called date and time here. So before I write the expression over here, I wanted to check the variable type, and I wanted to change the variable type for the particular date and time. So what I have to do? So I have to do this. I have click on the variable type. If you observe here, we have only boolean integer system data table, but which is if you can observe here, there is no variable type which is related to date and time. So you need to observe carefully at the time of creating any variable. Sometimes you won't able to see the variable types exactly which matches to that variable. Okay, for that purpose, what you need to do, click on the browse types and click on the search for the date and time. Mostly you need to select the variable type in a system only. See, if you observe here, are you able to see the screen? Is it small?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to select the variable type for date and time. So in the system, I have date and time. So I'm just double clicking on this, and now I got the system dot date time. So this is the correct type of variable for the date time, right? So now what I'm doing here is, I'm not writing any default value here. I'm not doing anything. So I wanted to check with now current date. So I'm just giving now. Okay. So to get this result, what I will do is I will just write a write line activity. So I will pass that variable to check the results. Let's see this. So it is showing that this allows implicit conversation from date to string. So date and time is the what kind of a variable? What type of a variable? It is a date time variable. So we need to convert this to a string. So let's run and check this. I'm just debugging this file. If you can observe in the left side of yours, you will have the output panel where you can check all the results. So I'm just clicking on the output. So if you observe here, I got the exact date and time here. Okay. So what I wanted to do a next step. I wanted to like I got the date and time, and I wanted to write this date and time into an Excel. What should I do? Right, cell activity I have to use. Okay. So maybe you may not understand how you need to select the exact right cell or right range or sorry right range. But let me explain you like this. If I'm clicking on this, if I'm searching with the right, you have a different types of option here. Right storage text, right cell, right CSV. The only thing is you need to check after this word you have a options called see where for example, first one you are doing suggested available programming debug. Okay, so why we use this activity mostly? We use this to debug and to check the results. All right. So right cell is nothing but it's writing in the cell. But I will not explain you very deeply about these activities because anyways we are going to do a Excel automation and we are covering all this concept in the Excel automation very deeply. So I'm just telling you, I'm just giving the overview. And also we have a different types of activities for the related to Excel, like workbook activities and Excel activities. So for now I'm just selecting write cell activity only because to write the particular result into an Excel. Okay. So here if you observe in the first column, it is asking me workbook path. So I'm just clicking on the browse for file. Okay. I'm just going the documents. So I already have the called data table. Okay. So if you observe here, sheet 1, I wanted to write in a sheet 3. So let's see, I'm just making the changes to write the result in a sheet 3. So whatever we got the result, date and time variable, I'm just passing that variable here. Again, we have the error. So implicit conversion from date to string. So I'm just converting this to a string. Anyways, we have here. I'm just copying it. I'm just pasting here. Okay. Now, I will show you that Excel as well. Just a minute. Okay, I have created this data for a different purpose. Don't think about that. Okay. So if you observe here, sheet 1 and sheet 2, I have mentioned like I have to get the result in a sheet 3, right? So I'm not doing anything here. I'm just closing this Excel and I'm debugging the file. Let's see the results. Okay, now the execution has completed. Let's check with the document. If you observe here, I only have sheet 1 and sheet 2 and it has created sheet 3 and it has entered the date and time here. Understood?
So, ma'am.
So this is another task which you people need to do. Okay. So the thing is, what we are doing, we are assigning some date. And one more thing I wanted to tell you, apart from this, now you have a different types of options. Okay, so if you want only date, you will have the option called to display the only date. So I'm just giving you the task to search for in the date time variable what how many types you can create the date and how many types you can give the syntaxes. So that is a task for you. Okay, I'm just moving to the next topic. Understood everyone? Or if you have any doubts. If you're not able to understand the concepts also, please tell me. Everyone? Sasimurli, Surya, Hema,
Yeah, I have
Shrutika.
understood.
Okay. See,
Yeah,
if I'm loud also, it doesn't mean it's actually when I'm explaining, it's getting very loud. My voice is getting loud. Okay. Okay. Now you have a. Let's open this meeting chat, meeting notes. So now you have covered with the arrays and time date time variable. Now we have a data table variable and the generic values variable, right? So what is data table variable and what is generic value variable? Before I explain you about the data table variable, I wanted to explain you about the generic value variable. Okay. So let's open the studio. Let me create a new sequence. Generic variable. Now tell me one thing. Generic variable, the name itself, it is telling you to give, it's a general variable, right? Okay, so we have understood the integers. In integer variable, it is taking only the numbers, and in the strings, it is taking only the string variables, and the date and time variable, it is taking only the date and time, right? So, what is a generic variable? Why we use this generic variable? Let's understand that. So, for suppose, I will explain you this in the flow chart. Okay, so let's create a flow chart here. So I'm just searching with the flowchart. I got the flowchart activity. I'm just dragging and dropping here. So if you double click on this, then you will have this option. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I will use an assign activity to give a integer value. Okay. So I'm just searching for the assign, dragging and dropping here. Okay. Now I got the assign activity. I wanted to create one integer and one string value. So let's see that. I will do this like let's create a variable called integer. Okay. So in integer anyways you have to give the number. So what I will do, I will give the number as 10. Okay. So now I will create another sequence and I will give as a I will give the variable as a string. Now I have the integer over here and I am creating another variable called string. So pressing Ctrl key and str. So I string shortcut of string was str and integer was an int. Okay. So I wanted to give one text a string to this variable. So what I want to do, I'm just giving the number in the form of string. So now I have the string value and I have the integer value. But the thing is, if you observe in the variables, it is there the variable type, right? So tell me one thing, if there is an integer variable, what should be the variable type?
Int, integer
Int,
type.
integer, right? So I'm not doing anything. If there is a string variable, then it should be a string variable type, right? So what I will do is I will do a generic variable here. So there is no generic variable here, so I'm clicking on the browse for types. I'm searching for the generic. So most of the variable types will be in the system only. Okay. Okay, we have to search here. Okay, I got the generic value. Okay, so now I have selected the generic value and I am giving the another generic value here. So I didn't give the integer for integer. I didn't give the variable type as an integer, and for the string I didn't give anything. So what exactly it is explaining you is, apart from the variable type, if you are giving the generic value, it will take the results. It will give you the results. Okay, generic value is something like that, apart from the or without any variable type, which is not considering the variable types. It will take the, if you are giving the integer values, it will take in the generic value type. If you are giving strings, it will take in the variable type. So that was the exact meaning for this. Okay, so now I have the integer and I have the string. Now I have to get the result as well. So for that purpose also, I'm just giving another assign activity and I'm creating in a variable called result. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm concatenating these two values to these two variables. So I'm just adding integer plus string. Okay, so after concatenating this, I need to get the result. I should get this in a right line. So for that purpose, I'm just dragging the right line and I'm putting here. So whatever the results I got, I'm just passing the variable here. Okay, whatever the results are getting, that result will be stored in this variable. So I'm passing that variable into a right line activity. Now, if you observe, I didn't give any start nodes and end nodes to this. So why I did not give, you need to understand, if I'm not giving any direction to this, how it will work. So I am just giving the direction now. Set as start node. I'm just telling to start from here. And after this, I wanted to go from here. Like this. You need to merge the activities or attach the activities. Okay. So now it was ready. Let me debug this. What I will do is I will just put a breakpoint here. Why I'm using breakpoints, why I'm using step into, because this was explained in the earlier classes. This is used for a debugging purpose. This is used to check your results, whether it is getting a proper results or not. So without not taking the extra classes on this debug method, so I'm explaining you in these classes only. Okay, so that if you are doing a practice also, you need to do a same thing. You need to if you are not getting the exact results, you need to give a breakpoint in middle of the activity. If you think there was some error in middle of the activity, then you have to keep a breakpoint, then you have to debug the code. so that it will stop over there. Okay, so it was executed here and it was stopped here because I just put it a breakpoint. So after this, if I can select the step into, I can select step over, I can select step out. That is completely based on upon us. Okay, so I just stopped here because to check the results. So for the integer, I got the 10 value, and for the str, I did not get any value because it is not yet executed. So let me click on the step into. Now str also executed and I got the value of 12. So this was an integer and this was a string even though it was executed because of this generic value. So now I'm clicking on the step into again. Now I got the result. What is the result? That result is an a 22. Okay, let's continue this. See, this is how the execution will happen in the generic values, and this is how what are the steps. This is how the steps you need to follow while debugging your code, while checking your results. Okay. So if you observe in the output panel, you will have the 22 results. I just mentioned 10 plus 12. So that's why I got the result of 22. So this is how the generic values will available in Studio. But very important, generic variables, if you think you can select these generic variables and you can get the results, but wrong. Sometimes according to your project requirements, sometimes it may fail. It may not give you accurate results. So make sure that you are selecting the proper variable type while executing your code. Okay, so this is for understanding purpose what is the generic value and how it is used in the code. So for your understanding purpose, I have just explained you. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions?
No.
Okay. So the next thing is the next topic was, what is this? I've explained you about text, numbers, booleans, arrays, date and time. Now data table variable, right? So why I'm fetching you this variable part? Because whatever we are going to do in a email automations, in Excel automations, we are not going to cover this variable again. These variables will cover in in all the topics. If you are doing any scraping methods, if you are doing any recordings also, these variables will help you. So make sure you need to practice in all these 7 variables today or for tomorrow class. Okay. Now I wanted to explain you about the data table variable. So what I will do is I'll create another sequence and I'll give the name as data table. And here data types are different, data table is different. Okay, understood? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is a data table variable? Why we use this particular data table variable? Data table, the name itself is telling you there was some data, it should be in a table, right? So data table variable represents a type of variable that can store big piece of information and acts as a database. Okay, so data table variable represent a type of variable which can store the big piece of information. That means big amount of information that can store in the form of data table, which can act as a database. Or if think like this, data table, it means data table consists of rows and columns. That means it is you can think like this, it is also a simple spreadsheet with rows and columns. Okay, these variables can also be useful to migrate specific data from a database to another. which extracts information from a website and stores it locally in a spreadsheet and many others. For example, if you want to extract some information from the website, what you will do? So you can use this data table. It can extract the information and it can store it in the spreadsheet, as I mentioned you, with a simple spreadsheet with rows and columns. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I want to give simple and small task here. Not giving, I will do it and show you the simple task here. The task is like this. The task should be bot has to read some data from the Excel, and it has to store in some other Excel or some other sheet. So for reading an Excel, what we have to do? Which activity we have to use?
Read cell.
Read cell will read only one cell, I think.
Read range.
Yes, correct. So read range you have to use, because range itself is telling you to read the bulk. Okay. So I'm just taking an activity called read range here. Read range. So we have a different types of ranges to read the different types of activities to read the data. But here also, the whatever it is showing you, this is a Excel activities and these are the workbook activities. So I'm taking only workbook activities for now. Okay. So if you observe here, we have to give a workbook path from where it has to read the data. So I have just shown you some Excel, right? I wanted to delete some data in that Excel. So I am just opening this one. So I have some data in the sheet number 2 as well. So I will delete this one. And I will also delete this one, which we have got the result. So only the data is available in the sheet number 1. This is for understanding purpose. If you are going any live project, the data is something like this. It may be a serial number, site number, something like that. It may consist of some particular data into the Excel. So I'm just taking some information called the subjects, name, classes, and the subject and total marks. Okay. So I'm just saving this, and I don't have any data in the sheet number 2 and sheet number 3. So I'm just closing this Excel. And I'm giving some workbook path here. Click on the documents, data table, open. So now we have the workbook path. So if you observe here, by default it will take as a sheet number 1 only. Okay, if you want to change from where we have to read the data, you can change and you can do the modifications here. And the next part is A1 is to A2, A1 ratios to A2. But what it means, it is taking some range to read some particular data. That means if you observe in the Excel part, it is taking only from for some particular uh, lines. So let me open this. See, A1 is there and A2 is there. It is mentioned only A1 and A2. But we should get the data to read all this information. So what we need to do? Simply I am taking this range. I will keep the double quotes are like that. I'm just removing this range. So whatever the data we are reading, I have to get that data into a output. So I'm just going the properties, data table, output data table. So what I wanted to create a variable called output. So I will create an output, data table output, dt underscore output. Okay. So now I got the data ready. So I just read all the information from the Excel. Now what I have to do? So the main concept of explaining this was variable type. See, whatever you have created that variable for this output, it by default it has taken in the form of data table. because it is storing the information in the form of rows and columns, so that's why it has taken in the form of data table. For some scenarios it won't take the variable correct variable type. Make sure you need to check this variable type. Okay, the main concept to explain you about these variables data table, because whatever the output or whatever the variable you are creating for this particular excel, that will defaultly it will store into a data table. Okay, so I have taken some information from the excel and I have to write in some other excel, or I have to write same information into a other sheet. So what I have to do now?
We need to write the
Correct, you need to write it, but how you need to write it? If you click on place, if you search for write, we have a different multiple options here. Which activity we need to select?
right
Right. Sorry.
Right,
Right range.
right range. Yeah.
Yes, right range we need to select. So I have given a workbook path where that path is already mentioned. If you want to write that particular data into a different excel, you can give the different workbook path or a different path over here, but I wanted to write in the same path, so I'm just taking the same excel. So already it was the data is available in the sheet number 1, and now I wanted to write in the sheet number 2, but I don't want to give range here again. Okay. So what we have to give here? Data table. So the output which we got for this read range, we need to pass here. So output only we need to write here, right? So I'm just giving a output. So now everything got ready here. So I wanted to give some hint in the properties panel. I'm not doing anything. Just observe, I'm not doing anything. Let's run this one. Yeah, so the execution has completed. Now let's check with the Excel. We have the data over here with name, class and everything. And if you click on sheet number 2, we only have the information about the names, class, but not the headlines. Did you observe that? Why it is not there? Why we already told this bot to read all the information? Why it has only read this information? Why not these headings?
We didn't select headers, that header.
Correct, you are 100% correct. We did not select it to add the headers, so I'm just enabling it now. So now let's debug this again. I'm closing this one. If you don't remove this content also, it will rewrite, but anyways I'm just taking off and I'm debugging this again. So execution has completed. Let's check with the results. Sheet number 1 and sheet number 2, you have the results with headings. So this is how data table variables will work in a Excel. Okay, the main thing to explain you is this is storing some piece of information in the form of a data table. Not from only Excel. For understanding purpose I have explained you in the Excel, but if you are taking some information from the website, or you are taking some information from the application or anywhere, if you are taking some text and you wanted to paste that text in the form of a table also, this data table variable will be helpful for you. So this is how we covered the different and mainly used variable activities in UiPath. Till now, if you have any questions, please let me know.
No.
Understood the concept? What I'm trying to tell you?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yeah. So you people need to do all these tasks based on the data table. I will write each and every task in the meeting notes now. And after this meeting notes, you have to do a task on data table, which I have shown you, and arrays, time, generic variable. On these four concepts you need to do a task. Do the task which I have shown you. Don't do the extra thing. If you want to do extra activities also, please do it. But if you have a time, please do the extra activities. But the main thing is you have to do this task which I have shown you, because tomorrow I'm going to explain you about the control flow statements, and day after tomorrow we are going to have the Excel automations, which is more important.
Okay.
Okay, so any questions? So I have taken extra half an hour because in the beginning I was late, so that's why. So if you have any question and how you feel the concept, that means how you did you understand or it is making you confused?
Only I have confused only in the arrays. Remaining
Mm-hmm.
everything is clear.
Same
So
here.
Okay.
I didn't understand what's the main purpose of the arrays.
Okay.
Maybe if we do two more three tasks, then we may
Mm-hmm.
understand clear about the arrays. I think.
Okay. Okay. So we'll do one thing. Tomorrow, first 15 minutes, we will do only on the arrays.
Okay.
We will do another task, and so that we will able to understand the concept of arrays.
Yeah, that will be great, Uma. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about the remaining concepts?
Yeah, remaining everything
That,
is clear.
Okay, only the arrays you have the doubt, right?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine. That we will do another task tomorrow in the initial of the class only, so that we will able to understand the concept of arrays. And after that, we will cover the control flow statements. And these
Yeah.
control flow statements also an important, which you can use in your live projects. Okay. So Surya Sriram, did you understood? I know you have not yet installed the mission UiPath Studio.
Yeah, Umar. The thing is like it was when I was entered into the call, it is fine, but I have to be more practice on that, and I have to be. I mean, I have to observe again this previous yesterday and today's calls.
Yeah,
Uh,
actually,
yeah.
we only covered variables, Surya, for now, because variables are the most important concepts. So if you observe in
Hmm.
each and every task, based on variables only, each and every task is performing.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So you need to concentrate on the variables. You need to concentrate on the task on today's class, so that you can able to understand it.
Yeah, Umar.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
something to will ask because for now it is absolutely fine. I mean, the way you teaching and the way you explain, it is absolutely fine for me.
yeah.
The issue is from my end. Like I have to be prepared more. I have to
Yes.
be clear. I mean, I have to be attend again one more session. Like I have to be repeat these calls as well. So then
Yeah.
only I will get a clarity on this.
Yeah, if you have any queries also, please ping me. If I'm available, I can give you the answers, or I can clarify your doubts.
Yeah, you definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Yes. Um, Dolika.
From my school.
Okay. Dolika, is that issue resolved?
Yes, ma'am, I got the output.
Okay, fine. Hema, I'm asking you again because I'm just having the names in the serial way. That's why.
I'm fine, Uma. Thank you. Just the array is one like little bit confusion, but I guess going through this video, today's video, and another example tomorrow's should help.
Yeah, tomorrow, anyways, we will definitely do an arrays task with
Okay.
simple and easily understandable. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Ramya,
Yes, Uma. Understood everything. No
yeah.
issue.
Sesimurli, Sesi.
Yeah, understood, Uma.
Okay. Shrutika,
Yes, understood.
okay, fine. Okay, guys, so this is how today's class will be. And do your task. Please complete the task which I have shown you today because it's very important. I'm reminding you again and again. Without doing the practicals, you cannot understand the scenarios in the future classes because it is going on. It will be more complicated, and it will involves more concepts. Please make sure that you are going to complete all the tasks within time, at least one or two, not all the tasks which I am mentioning, at least one or two. Make sure that you are doing correctly and you get the correct results. Okay.